First, let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Zhenkong. Homage to the 16th Dharma King Karmapa. And homage to Master Dukten Darji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of Homa today. Manjushri Bodhisattva. The Manjushri. Manjushri meaning the marvelous and auspicious. Sumo, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma instructors, Dharma assistants, all disciples present here and over the internet. Good afternoon, how do you do? In Mandarin, in Taiwanese, in Cantonese. And all participating VIPs today is the accountant to the True Buddha Foundation, Dharma Sister Teresa and her husband Larry. And the law advisor to the True Buddha Foundation, Dharma Sister Jennifer Zhou. From the CTI TV Taiwan, producers for the Guinea Diansang Shinten, Dharma Sister Rebecca Shiachi. From Northwest University of Chicago, a professor in the medical college, Dr. Zhang Qiang. Dr. Zhou Heng. Dr. Gao. And members of the choirs, True Buddha School choirs, Ms. Liao and Ms. Lin. Dr. Ryan Zhuang. And the wife of the former director of the Credit Warranty Fund of Taiwan, Ms. Vivian Sit. And the Rinpoche from Chicago Lechang Temple. I would like to make a few announcements first. Next Saturday, next Sunday, on June 14th, is the Golden Mother Homa fire offering ceremony. Golden Mother. So having the Golden Mother is so that Grandmaster would be cured. Grandmaster's throat would be cured soon, like the group practice yesterday. We had the main deity as Golden Mother. That's a special case because usually we take turn among the 8 primary deities, but they had Golden Mother hoping that Grandmaster's throat would be cured soon. And next Sunday, the Homa at Rainbow Temple is Golden Mother. It was Ragaraja listed before but changed into Golden Mother. And they hoped that Grandmaster's throat would be cured soon. So I hope that anyone that can become the primary supplicants do. Anyone not wishing Grandmaster to be well, then please don't be primary supplicants. It's good to say that. Nothing more to say about the importance of the Golden Mother. We can say that True Buddha School was founded by Golden Mother. Without Golden Mother, I would still be a Christian, a follower of Jesus Christ. So she was the one who changed me. Because of this affinity, the Golden Mother shining light on me let me open my third eye, divine eye, and then I became aware of a lot of things, and then I changed my faith. Without it, that up until my college time, in my poems, I still wrote about it was Minister Su that baptized me. I would speak in Taiwanese that could be hard to be translated into English. I use this water to baptize you. And in the name of and give you the new name. And then sprinkle the water in the new. So Grandmaster was baptized. So during Homa today, we had a special guest. I rarely saw him, and that was the 16th Dharma King Karmapa. Because last night I mentioned him, so that's why he came today. That's why we say that the root guru is always around you. There is no distance between you. As soon as you think of him, he would be there. So the 15th Dharma King Karmapa's mantra, Om Karmapa Si Hum, was the mantra of the 15th Karmapa, and the 16th that's the 16th Karmapa mantra. So I recited his mantra during Homa because I saw him. Om Karmapa Chenno. That's his mantra. It was a very special occasion. And he knew that his black hat Dharma ceremony Now we have 17th Karmapa. One is Tashito. One was recognized by Dalai Lama and Tashito Rinpoche, called Uchinchire. And the second was recognized by Shamapa, was called Taye Doji. So there are two Karmapas now. And the Longde Temple, the Dragon Virtue Temple, was built by Karmapa. So Karmapa is primarily at Sikkim. And then in Tibet, it was called the Chuku Temple, was the center for Karmapas. And in Sikkim, it was called the Dragon Virtue Temple. And the 17th Dharma King, because they have some dispute between the two Karmapas. So the Dragon Virtue Temple is closed. It's open. It's open for visits, but cannot be occupied by Karmapa. Nothing can be touched inside the temple, especially the most precious black crown or black hat. I'm not sure if it's still there at the temple, but it is prohibited for any of the Karmapa to take the black crown. So now there are two Karmapas, 17, and none of them could perform the black crown ceremony. And the Karmapa that came here today was in the costume for the black crown ceremony. So wearing the black crown and one hand holding the black, and the left hand is holding the chanting beads, a white crystal chanting beads. One of his chanting beads is with Grandmaster. And the black crown is at the Dragon Virtue Temple. So they don't have it, so they cannot conduct the black crown ceremony. So the 17th Karmapa cannot conduct the black crown Dharma ceremony because they don't have the black crown. A true black crown was made from the hair of many Dakinis. That's according to the legend. And he's holding the black crown. Otherwise, it could fly to the roof. So if you conduct the ceremony in an open air, that the black crown could fly away and then you would lose it. So the 16 Karmapa often use one hand and slowly take the black crown and wear it on his crown and then enter into Samadhi. All the lamas and acharyas around him would recite his mantra. Om Karmapa Chenno. So there would be flutes and trumpets, a very long instruments blowing Tibetan music, so that everyone would enter into Samadhi together with the Karmapa wearing the black crown. That's the key, the most important part of the black crown ceremony. And all participants would enter into samadhi together with Karmapa. And I'd like to make another announcement today. On December 13th, this year, 2015, December 13th, 2015, close to Hong Kong Airport at the convention center in Hong Kong, near the airport, I will conduct the White Lotus King Dharma ceremony and empowerment. The White Lotus King, and for the first time would transmit the Buddha Dharma on the White Lotus King Dharma. Has never transmitted by anyone before. Who is this White Lotus King? That's the second king of Shambhala. And the first king of Shambhala was Manjusri Bodhisattva. Manjusri. That's Manjusri Bodhisattva, also called Manjusri Dharma Prince. He was the first king of the Shambhala country, or Shambhala Buddha land. And the second king was the White Lotus King, was a child of Manjusri, called the White Lotus King. Manjusri Bodhisattva did not write anything when he was the king, but the second king wrote the uncontaminated clear light discussion, talking about Kala Chakra. On December 13th, 2015, in Hong Kong, at the convention center near the airport, International Conference Center. International Meeting Center. There would be the White Lotus King Dharma ceremony that was never conducted by anyone else before in the world. We had Manjusri Homa today because Manjusri is considered to be with the first and foremost wisdom. I remember in the past I had expounded on these two stories related to Manjusri Bodhisattva. One to show his wisdom, and the other one to show his Dhamma power. When Sakyamuni Buddha was about to enter into parinirvana, lots of people beseeched him to stay in the Saha world, to continue delivering sentient beings. And the Buddha answered, time is up. It's time for him to leave the world. And Manjusri Bodhisattva too also beseeched. Sakyamuni Buddha not to enter into parinirvana so soon. So Manjusri Bodhisattva told the Buddha, you had turned the first wheel of Dharma, talking about the Four Noble Truths, and had delivered many arhats. And the second turns of the Dharma wheel was on the Prajna Paramita and had delivered many bodhisattvas. And the third turn of the Dharma wheel, talking about enlightenment and Buddhahood. And you have expounded on the three turns of the Dharma wheel. And Manjusri Bodhisattva asked Sakyamuni Buddha to continue turning the Dharma wheel. And after Manjusri spoke, Sakyamuni Buddha replied, Manjusri with the great wisdom, you know, I never turned the Dharma wheel 3 times. The Buddha told him, Manjusri, you know that I never had turned any Dharma wheels. But there were 3 turns of the Dharma wheel. But why the Buddha said that there was none of it? Manjusri was the one, the enlightened one with the greatest wisdom. Only the enlightened one with the greatest wisdom could say something like that. And Manjusri didn't say anything afterwards because he understood what the Buddha said. So that's why Manjusri has the greatest wisdom because of this. Even when the Buddha turned the Dharma wheel 3 times, actually, there was no turning of the Dharma wheels. So this is the highest wisdom of the Buddha. And the next one. At that time in India, in the summertime, it was really hot like this. In India, it was extremely hot. And it was during the rainy season. So Buddha called on all his disciples, all bodhisattvas, arhats, which is like a retreat in the summer rainy season. For 3 months, they gather together and practice. No need to go for alms begging or moving around. So it's like a 3-month retreat all together, cultivating spiritually. So one time they had the summer retreat, and Mahakashyapa, one of the 10 great disciples of the Buddha, and Buddha's lineage was first transmitted to Mahakashyapa. So Mahakashyapa became the superintendent, the one in charge, to check on everybody, whether they are diligent in their practice, whether they are meditating or practicing. So he's the head, the controller during this 3 months. And he often saw Manjusri Bodhisattva in his room with the door open. And there are lots of concubines of the kings that entered into Manjusri's room. Of course, the rooms in the retreat are quite small. But all the concubines of the king entered into Manjusri's room, and many other female or famous or beautiful ladies that entered into Manjusri's room. And Mahakashyapa was the had, and he was the greatest disciple. And Kashyapa was the one that did not like women, and he's very serious. He never laughed. He's first and foremost in ascetic practice, in suffering practice. He would avoid any woman. Not like some of our masters who are very womanizing, would love women, and they would intentionally try to get close or hit on the woman. So the pig masters, but the arhats of that time, they don't see women, they don't hear the woman sing, and moreover, they never touch any woman. They always try to avoid them as far as possible. They abide by the precepts. They would never say more than 3 or 4 statements when talking to women. And eyes cannot meet with the eyes because you would be electrified and then you would be dead. So the arhat never look into the eyes of the woman. Their eyes would always look down to the ground when he's speaking to a woman, and they never say more than 1 or 2 sentences. And he would never say something like, "Can I get your phone number?" At that time, there was no phone either. So you look down and you never say more than 3 words, 3 sentences to the woman. And they have to maintain a certain distance from the woman. Not like our pig masters these days. Anyone with no fruition in their spiritual cultivation still dare to touch women. They're dead for sure. And this kind of man would fall into Vajra hell. And for the woman, they would suffer the consequences. Mahakashyapa was very stern and disciplined. So he was the controller, and he saw Manjushri Bodhisattva with many women visiting him, and they will look really rich and beautiful, and also with high positions, going in and out of Manjushri's room. So Mahakashyapa reported to the Buddha, you know, there are lots of women every day going in and out of Manjushri's room. And then the Buddha asked Mahakashyapa, so what would you do? And he said, kick him out. So kick Manjushri out from the Sangha, from the retreat, and Buddha laughed. It's impossible for you to kick Manjushri out. And Mahakashyapa said, but in the Sangha, and he let lots of women come into his room and then close his doors. He's violating the precepts. That's really a huge transgression. We have to ask him to leave. And Buddha smiled at Mahakashyapa. Do you know the mastery or the power of his spiritual cultivation. And Mahakashyapa said, how would I know? I am just an arhat. How would I know how Manjushri's cultivation is? I never care for others. I am just an arhat. I only care for myself. And then Buddha said, well, okay, then you can try. Let you see where Manjushri is. And the Buddha waved his arm, and Manjushri was inside each room. And Mahakashyapa, the great arhat, saw that Manjushri was in every room. And then he looked up to the sky, that inside the 28 heavens there were also Manjushri Bodhisattvas. And then on earth, in the spirit world, there were also Manjushri Bodhisattvas. And all the Buddha lands, in each of the Buddha land there was also Manjushri Bodhisattva. So Sakyamuni Buddha told Mahakashyapa, so did you see that at any corners of the universe there was Manjushri Bodhisattva? How could you kick him out of the Sangha? So Mahakashyapa couldn't do anything. So Arhat would never comprehend the realm of Bodhisattvas. And Manjushri was not just a Bodhisattva, he was a teacher of the 7 Buddhas. So there were the past 7 Buddhas, up to Sakyamuni Buddha's teacher was Manjushri. So he was the teacher of Buddhas. So his spiritual cultivation and his Dharma power is extremely great, incredible. So he has the greatest Dharma power. So see, it's very simple. He has the greatest Dharma power and he has the greatest wisdom. So he truly is the greatest. So today, by receiving Manjushri Bodhisattva's empowerment, by receiving the wisdom and all kinds of Manjushri empowerments, if your wisdom can be like Manjushri Bodhisattva, and in your spiritual cultivation, you can be like Manjushri, then you're like the teacher of the Buddhas. So Manjushri is a truly great Manjushri. That's the end of my introduction on Manjushri. Now let's continue reading on the Great Perfection Dharma of Tantraya. When you succeed in this throne Dharma practice, when you do your soul travel, you have your throne supporting you, and your soul bright and radiant, beaming to your destination. The Holy Red Crown Vajra Master, now in his soul travel to the Himalayas, going and back very swiftly, and going anywhere is the same to the Buddha lands of the 10 directions. This is relying on the practice of the Dharma throne manifestation. Without it, saying that one can soul travel is mostly bogus. So at least you should ride on a lotus. A true Buddha, with one thought, you can go to all the realms. Should there be a true Vajra Acharya reading my writings on the rainbow manifestations and Dharma throne practice, they would praise that the Holy Red Crown Vajra Master has attained the Dharma throne practice, because this Dharma throne practice is not to be publicly made known, because this is the greatest secret. And today, Guru Padmasambhava transmitted this first and foremost great perfection Dharma to Sengyen Lu. So what is Sengyen Lu's origin? Just Padma Kumara? Maybe not so simple. And in the not distant future, I would find a few qualified disciples and transmit to them this throne Dharma practice. And I would appoint to their acupressure points and teach them how to ignite the fire until the fire formed to become the throne. And all true Buddha school of the world would be incredible and beyond, and they could fly all over the place, and this would be a true soul travel. There are two topics here. One is the rainbow manifestation, and the other one is the throne Dharma practice. In principle, if you can enter into samadhi, which I have told you before, which is the connection or the link together with the yidam, with the main deity, with the space, with the consciousness, linked together. So entering into samadhi is the foundation of all Dharma practices. As I said yesterday, the connection, the link together. Most crazy people, who are they linked to? They are linked to the ghost. So if you have sicknesses due to spirits and gods, then because you are connected to the spirits and gods, and if you cannot unhook the link, if you don't have the Dharma power to release yourself from the linkage with the ghost, then you are a ghost forever. Even those in the low level would have some psychic power, which is the ghostly spirit power. So if you are connected with the ghost, then you have that linkage. And the highest kind is the Buddhas, and the lowest is the ghost. So some of the mad people cannot be cured. In my experience, if you are born in the second lunar month or the 11th lunar month, and then if you become crazy, and then if you're born in the 2nd or 11th lunar month, it would be really difficult to cure. Why? I don't know. But that's from my experience, because I have seen lots of mentally disturbed people. And then, if you have suffered from this mental disorder for over 6 years, then it would be very difficult to cure. in the beginning, it's still curable. I was famous in curing the mentally disturbed people. That Jinghe Hospital from Taichung, any patients that cannot be cured at the hospital would tell them to go find Seng Yen Lu, and maybe he would be able to cure you. So there were lots of crazy people coming to see me, and some of them in chains, in bondage. They're all mad people. So why, how come all of a sudden so many crazy people? And then the doctors at the psychiatry told them to calm. And Simu had seen that the battles between them and me, and they came in and they blew on me, and Simu said, oh no. And I formed the mudra, and I would also breathe back, and then he just fell to the ground. And then there were also some patients that all of a sudden just hugged me. The female. There were so many mad people I have seen. And Simu also saw me fighting with the female or the male, because they are chained, because they could go crazy or hit people, and they got cured. And some came to the States, to LA, and now they're fine. Her husband sometimes come to Seattle to find me. So the mentally disturbed people. So what is that? That's because you have the link with the ghost. So as soon as you open that, and they can sleep well, and they have no linkage with the ghost anymore, then they would be fine. Why? Grandmaster has so many ghosts in his house. Because I salvage all of them, whether the living, the dead, the spirits, the ghosts, everyone. Like this morning, there was a ghost inside the bathroom, and as I walked by, the cover of the toilet, it was covered, and then it came up, and then because the ghost was inside the toilet. He lifted up the cover of the toilet, and then it would make sound, and the walls would make sound. And I was going to the toilet, and then behind me, the wall would make a really loud sound, like the sound of the gun on the wall. There were no sounds when I didn't go to the toilets. But, but I'm used to all this. I ignore them. As I walk by the door or by the wall, they would make all the sounds. So this morning it was very loud. But I don't have linkage with the ghosts, but I approve them to come to my side to be delivered. But I am linked to my lineage root guru, to my yidam, to my protectors. So with this link, wherever the root guru can go, you can also go. That's the soul travel. I can enter into the dreams of my disciples. There are many disciples who saw me in their dreams. If you have, please raise your hands. Many, many. I never dream of you, and you dream of me. So many. That's because in Samadhi, the lights were emitted and then would manifest the rainbow light. That's why the disciples would dream. So it's not local. It's not that when I'm in Seattle, that only people in Seattle would dream of me. No, all over the world, everyone can dream of me. Or the disciple who is in Italy, in Rome. I had a disciple there. When I visited Rome, that disciple told me that he dreamt of Grandmaster. Or in Brazil, they also dream of Grandmaster. That's South America. In Chile, you can go to any place, or Africa, the Ivory Coast. So that means the soul travel in dreams. So that means when you're in Samadhi, the lights are emitted automatically and entered into the whole universe, and anyone can dream of Grandmaster. So you would generate such a power. So that's the signs, the phenomena of the link of the soul travel in dreams. And sometimes I even give Dharma teachings or transmit the Buddha Dharma. It's so hard. Let me tell this joke. Oh, Emperor, I have a request. And the Emperor asks, what is it? The concubine. The concubine asked to be sent into the like the prison tower. Why? Because this concubine could not stand the hot temperature, wanted to go. This is also the play over in Chinese, which means the cold tower. Even if you are sent to the cold tower, you would still dream of Grandmaster. Even in the remote areas, you can still dream of Grandmaster. Like today, the 16th Dharma King Karmapa, who had left the world, but the gurus are always by your side. And today I saw him with my own eyes, the Karmapa Dharma King with the black crown. That his light knew that when the disciples long for his guru, he would appear in front of you and merge in body and mind, wearing the head the black cat entered into your body and mind. That's a kind of power. It's a kind of soul travel by the true guru with attainments. Yesterday I went to the bookshop and I read in the book that drinking alcohol can lead into hypertension, diabetes, gout, and many other diseases. It's so scary. When he got home, he drank a few glasses of vodka, and then he resolved never to read books again. We shouldn't be like that. Spiritual cultivation is very difficult. It is really hard to be linked with your yidam, to be connected with it. Why? Because you haven't emptied yourself. Because your mind is still filled with running thoughts. You're so full of it that the deity has no space to enter into you. Because inside you are all that useless thoughts. You never think of your yidam, of your deities. And you put all the garbage inside you. How could the deity get linked to you? You're not clean at all. You're really dirty. Then how could the deity be linked with you? Then the deity would be linked to a garbage can, right? So that's why you need to throw away all your garbage. And once you're pure, then the deity would get linked to you, would be connected with you. It's a simple concept, right? I know that samadhi is so difficult and getting connected with the yidam is very difficult, so I might as well just be an ordinary man, forget it. But it shouldn't be like that. There was a man who is a true womanizer. When he saw a beautiful lady, he went to her and carrying umbrella for her. Oh, you look familiar. What do you do? And she said, oh, I'm in the service business. And the man said, oh, that's good. Then I should be your next client. Where do you work? And the lady replied, oh, I do make-ups for the dead people. So this kind of connection is not good. She's doing makeup for the people who just died, for the funerals. And he said he wanted to be her next client, then he would have to die. So we have to have good connection or good link with the good ones and not with the bad ones. That's very important to remember. The Chinese often say, when you get close to the ink, you would get black. When you get close to the like the red, then you would become red. And gradually, you don't feel it anymore. So if you get close with the good people, then you become good. If you're close to the bad people, then you would become bad. then you would create bad karma. So this is really important. One day, there was a thief that was caught by the police. And then the police asked him, "Why do you want to be a thief?" "I don't know, no reason. Because I get a master's degree." This also play of words in Chinese. So he is studying the locks. And what for is to break the locks. So don't misunderstand. So the thief has the skills of the thief, and you don't want to be like that. What we want to study or to learn is the good skills, is the virtuous ones. Then you become virtuous too. A high school teacher was late and then passed through the red traffic light and was caught by the police. And the teacher said, "Oh, please, I'm getting late. And are you a student?" "No, I'm the teacher." "You're a teacher?" "Yes." "Please let me go." And the police said, "No. When I was a student, I had been waiting for this chance for a long time." He was often punished by the teacher, and the policeman said, "So write it on the road that you would never cross the red light again 50 times before you can go." Because as a teacher, you punish students, and then, but if you make mistakes, the students can also punish the teacher. So as the Dharma propagators, please do not make mistakes. If you're hooked with the wrongs, then you become wrong too. And as the disciples, they can also punish the masters. Or when the master made mistakes, or the reverend made mistakes, or the Dharma educator, or anyone made mistakes, people are very clear about that. They see that clearly. And you would receive the punishments. So we should get linked to the good people, to the good friends. And it is best to get linked with Manjushri Bodhisattva, because he is always with the greatest wisdom. And you want to have fruition in your own spiritual cultivation to gain powers and mastery. Then you have no more fear and no more topsy-turvy, just like Manjushri Bodhisattva.
非常感谢圣真经采访。